first of all, let me say thank you for everyone staying. I know this is the last session of the day. My name is Mark Meissner. I'm the Senior Vice President for the PCI Council. And our next panel is going to talk to you. It's a number of people who are involved in the Council in a host of ways. There's never been a better time to be involved with the Council than right now. There are so many ways for you to participate. And I know many of you this week have talked to me in the hallway or in the vendor showcase about ways that you and your company would like to be more involved in our community. If any of you ever want to have that discussion, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk with you about all the ways that you can participate and be more involved in our community. With that said, I'd like to ask the panel to come out and take their seats. Dan, what are you doing?
Well, I figure if you're still here, it's happy hour.
So let me ask each one of the panel members, we'll just go down the row and have them introduce themselves real quick. As I said, I'm Mark Meissner with the PCI Council.
And my name is Harvey. I'm Managing Director with Online Business Systems with our Risk Security and Privacy practice.
I'm Heidi Babi. I am a PCI Security and Assurances Senior Lead, maybe not so senior, at Mars Incorporated.
I'm Jesus Fidalgo. I'm the PCI DSS Compliance Lead at Block.
I'm Paulo Souza. I am from Brazil. I work at CISO Current Systems. Now the name is CISO Digital. I'm responsible for information security and compliance with PCI security standards.
Diana Greenhaw, I'm Head of Engagement for PCI Standards Council and the party chair.
Well, let me start right next to me with you, Rob. You're a member of our GEAR. Tell us a little bit about what GEAR is and what they do.
Yes, so GEAR is the Global Executive Assessor Roundtable. It's an opportunity for a lot of the senior management or senior executives from all the PCI QSA companies to allow them to provide input with the council. So this is a subset of the community itself, and it allows us to interface directly with some of the senior leadership of the council itself, be able to provide some perspectives that we see that's going on when we're doing assessments or an advisory into the community itself, and that's where we kind of fall into that perspective there. Again, it's mainly about gathering that type of input from them.
Yeah, and tell us what you get out of it. Why does your company participate in GEAR? Why is that important to you?
It's important to us because we get the opportunity to meet with some fellow QSA companies 4 to 5 to 6 times during the year, so we can see some commonalities that are occurring out in the field as well. Allows us to be able to participate with that. And the assessors come in and they share that common challenges, working on different specific requirements that they're seeing there. It allows us to bring some brainstorming activity, which I think has provided a lot of value to the council, so this council can see that information, and it can help drive a little bit of a voice to change. It helps change a little bit, kind of giving that perspective what we're seeing out there.
Yeah, the feedback we get from GEAR has been very valuable to the council. Heidi, let me jump over to you. You're a member. You're associate PO, which is our basic membership. Tell us a little bit about what that is and the value that you get out of that.
Sure. So being with Mars, we are a global company. We reach something in the realm of 80 countries and 215 assessments a year-ish. And so we are constantly looking for solutions that span the globe and partners that span the globe and trends, emerging threats, everything that's going on. And in order to kind of stay in touch with everything, a group like the SSC, where we all get to come together and we all get to network and we get to meet the vendors and we get to talk, that's really invaluable to us. It saves a ton of time if you're looking for a vendor and you search PCI vendor. So it's really, really valuable in that sense. Also, for a company the size of ours, to be able to know what's coming up and changes with the regulations, just to be able to engage in those webinars and those different assessor sessions and all the annual fun, the annual engagement, that really helps us. And so we have a team that we actually have 4 of us that go across the globe, and so we get to do all the community meetings we get to participate in some sort or another. There's one of us always there. So.
And you're such a global, iconic global brand. The fact that the council is global and our standards are global, talk a little bit about how that's important to you.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Just having the resources to go to. For instance, we might be looking at a solution in the United States that we can't use in another country due to encryption technology requirements, et cetera. So just having those resources to go to, having the people to talk to, being able to talk to folks just like us who are dealing with problems just like us. I can't tell you how much time, energy, grief it has saved us. And then we've made some fantastic partners. We've got some really reliable vendors that are almost like family now. So it's really been helpful.
Yeah, good. Jesus, let me ask you, Block is a principal participating organization. That's fairly new. It's something that the council created, kicked off last year. Tell us a little bit about what's the PPO program and why is it important for Block to be a part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So PPO is the highest level of participation that an organization could have with the council. Some of the great things about being a PPO is that we get the opportunity to participate in strategy sessions with the council's executive committee, as well as other staff members of the council. These are sessions where we get to talk about the direction of the standards and where they're going into the future. More tactically, we also had the opportunity to get priority access to become a BOA member so that we could talk about the problems and the challenges that the industry is facing at the moment.
Yeah, and I know PPO, you've been busy. So in the first year, what have you been working on?
Yeah, so we've been looking strategically on the horizon, working with the council on building the roadmap, looking from Horizon 1, which is the 1 to 2 years. These are shorter term strategic priorities, all the way to Horizon 3, which is the 5 to 10 year out. These are a little bit more unclear, and we get the opportunity to help the council develop standards. But then more tactically, we have had the opportunity recently to be on the RFC for the MPOC standard. We get to join a task force where we got together to develop version 1.1 of the standard. Aside from that, we've also worked on DSS 4.0 challenges with 643 and 1161, which I'm sure a lot of you are looking to validate those new requirements.
Yep. And I know the PPO's very important. We've got 35 of them now, which it shows how popular it has been in its first year. It's really taken off. It's really been nice to see. Paulo, you've come a long way to join us. You're all the way from Brazil. Yeah. You're a member of our regional engagement board in Brazil, something that we've had for a number of years. Tell us a little bit about what the REB is and about your involvement in it.
Well, the REB serves as advisors to the PCI Council on payments data security issues in Latin America. The REB was created about 2018, and I joined this group at the time, and it's a very important progress that we have since the beginning. The REB represents the PCI Council participation organizations and industry stakeholders from regions where increased input and engagement is needed to foster broad adoption of PCI security standards and improving payment security. For a company like CISO Digital, with level 1 processor in Brazil, our participation in the REB, together with other members of the payment industry, allows to the opportunity to bring up relevant and sensitive issues to our market, to engage the REB team to discuss problems that are common to participate in the payment industry. The REB is formed by 33 companies in Latin America currently.
And so tell us a little bit about why your company is involved. I know RB plays a big role in a lot of the translations work that the council does, but tell us why it's important to you to be involved in that.
Well, first, CISO Digital is about continuity and consistency. We appreciate that the PCI Council is constantly involving as the payment words change. They consistently listen to our input and direction. Well, I am working with PCI since the version 1.2 in 2007. Some years.
Yeah.
And serving on the RAB give us a chance to rise and discuss regional payment challenges in Latin America. Serving the RAB give us a window into larger global challenges and emerging issues. It also allows to make sure that our regional concerns are represented on the PCI Council, of course. And that's really the best of both worlds for us. And we are grateful to the PCI Council to give us those platforms to participate.
Yeah, no, it's the REB does great work, and they've been able to raise a lot of issues and inform the council about things that are going on down in Brazil and Latin America. Diana, my first question to you is, why did you not bring a glass of champagne for the rest of us? Is there a reason?
Andrew did it.
I'll blame Andrew, of course. So Diana, you're the new head of engagement. We're super excited to have you on board. Tell us a little bit about your background and this new role that you have with council.
Sure. So as the head of engagement, we have responsibility for managing our relationships, PCI's relationships, with all of the stakeholders. So all of you in this room, QSAs, the certification labs, we have responsibility for ensuring that we are doing the right level of engagement with all of those different partners. And in my roles, I have had the opportunity to work for a payment brand, an acquirer, a processor, an issuer, a vendor, and what I feel like I bring is perspective, right? I've literally been in the seat you're in, and so I hope that that perspective allows me to connect with you, to understand what your needs are, and allow the council to make adjustments to how it works with its stakeholders. That's really, I feel like, what I bring that is most valuable and what I'm excited about because it gives us a new way to work together.
And I know, because we've had a lot of changes with the way we engage stakeholders, and there's a lot of folks have asked, so what are the engagement priorities for the council moving forward?
Sure. So obviously, it's finding the right balance for that engagement. So Jesus, you talked a little bit about the development of a roadmap. And so with our principal members, we were able to develop a long-term roadmap. And now it's about working across the organization internally as well as with our partners to look at that roadmap and set priorities. We're doing that with the standards team. Deanne talked a little bit about that in the opening presentation. But it's also finding the right value, right? So there are different membership options to kind of fit every need, but we want to make sure we're meeting the expectation of our principal members, of our associate members, of our individual members, but we've also got our Global Executive Assessors Roundtable, which we want to make sure we are hearing what they're saying. They're the ones out working with all of these stakeholders to do those assessments. They have a very unique perspective, and we need to hear that. Our board of advisors, we want to continue to have and leverage the experience from that group. They have so much experience, and so doing that together will provide a more valuable output for all of us. And I think those different levels of membership are going to allow us to hit the mark better. I think a really good example were the workshops. We did those pre-conference workshops where I talked about the fact that it was standing room only. It clearly demonstrates that you don't want to just be spoken to, you want to be part of the conversation, you want to contribute. And we're very excited about that, and I can tell you that we will look for more opportunities to do exercises like that.
Yeah, the workshops this week were just phenomenal. I mean, they were standing room only in both workshops. I think we had two great facilitators, as well as two really terrific topics. So we'll wrap up. The last question, this is for everybody, and I'll start. You know, we come to these events and we always talk about the standards and the programs. We talk a lot of work, but being part of this community and attending events like this, there's also a fun side to it. It's the friendships you make, it's the business relationships you make. Many people tour around the city that they're in or stay afterwards and take a little vacation. I know Paulo brought his son with him on this trip. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about that because I don't think we talk enough about that. That's something that's really nice about the community that we are all a part of. And I'll start with this. I oftentimes bring my wife on my trips and we do a little vacation on the back end. Had a chance to travel all around the world and see a lot of really great cities, places that I might not otherwise have been able to visit. And so that's really a great part of this, as well as all the friendships you made. I've made so many friends in this role, many of you in this room. And that's, to me, is really a special part of being involved in our community. And Rob, I just asked everybody to share a little bit about what's kind of the fun part of being part of the council and being part of these events.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like a family reunion. You know, like you just come back after year and be able to see some of the people in different parts of the organization. Love the different locations, like you mentioned before. There's some unique aspects to every one of the cities that they're participating in, and so I think that is a key aspect of it. I think it's a lot of not only the meetings and the content, the meeting within itself. It's about meeting the people and getting out and enjoying those types of relationships too.
Yep. Heidi, how about you?
I absolutely love the PCI community meetings because it's a chance to actually see my coworkers. Since we're all sort of separated around the globe, this is a chance for us to actually get together and have a little fun. But in addition to that, it gives me an opportunity to meet folks like Paulo and say huge thank you to you and the REB, because operating in 80 countries, those translated documents are huge. We just did a assessment in Brazil and would not have been able to make it through it in the time frame that we did without those translated documents. So being able to say thank you in person to people. We did I actually spoke last year, both in Portland, and then I was on a panel in Dublin, so I got a chance to go to Dublin and visit, and like actually see one of my coworkers for the first time ever, and we drank some Guinness together and made it to the Kells Library, or the Trinity Library Books of Kells, and had a blast, and yeah, there's some pictures up there. So the Guinness mustaches. One of my coworkers, Jeff, is in the audience right now. We're in Toronto together, and then I did manage to snap a selfie with Jeremy King one year.
With Jeremy King?
It's one of my prized possessions, is that photo. So.
Jesus, how about you?
Yeah, for me, it's absolutely about the relationships, just like Heidi mentioned, right? One of the unique things about being a PPO is that we get 5 complimentary passes to come to these community meetings. So it's a great opportunity to get our team together and see each other, do some fun activities, such as going to the ball game. Earlier this week, we went to Fenway Park, and it was such an amazing experience. We saw 5 home runs hit during that game.
Over the Green Monster?
2 of them went over the Green Monster.
That's pretty cool.
It was a fantastic experience. And, you know, in previous years, my first community meeting, I got to go with Diana, and we got to eat some fantastic food in Toronto. It was just a great opportunity.
That's great. Paulo, how about you?
Well, I have a lot of fun. It's my 4th time in community meetings in America. The first was in Vegas.
How could you have fun there, right?
We cannot say nothing.
Not allowed to talk about it, are you?
Then I went to Toronto, a lot of stories. Last year in Portland, and this year here is very important to me because this year I bring my son.
Yeah.
Here he is.
He's here in the front row, 14 years old.
And for me, it's a very special community meeting this year because I took some days to have some fun in the city.
Sure.
There's a lot of things to do here.
Yeah. There sure is. There sure is. Diana, how about you?
So to echo what everyone has said here, the connections are so important. But what I'm seeing those connections translate into is to actual partnerships and collaboration. I don't know how many presentations over the last 2 days where it wasn't just one organization, but it was multiple organizations presenting together on how they'd work together to solve security challenges. So the PCI community meetings bring us together as a community, but it also allows us to foster that collaboration in ways that work for our business, that we take away from this, that we take back home. So I'm really excited about that, and I look forward to the future of doing more of it.
Yeah, very good. Great. Well, thank you. How about giving a round of applause to our panel?
And cheers.
That's
Cheers.
So we're now at the end of the community meeting. Hope you had a great few days. Thank you for sticking with us. This is a bigger crowd than I thought we'd have on the last session. I thought we might be speaking in front of the cleanup crew who was stacking chairs, but thank you for staying with us. Hope you enjoyed the experience. As I mentioned before, if you want to be more involved with the council, or if you're not an associate PO and you might be interested, please reach out to me. I would love to have that conversation with you and have a chance to talk through all the many benefits. There are so many changes coming in the next couple of years to our standards and programs. Never been a better time to have your voice heard. So with that, I'll say thank you and hope everybody has safe travels home.